Shalom Yesharala. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruchah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the Ofle Akim that's preached the word in all truth and sincerity, along with your Israelite foreign brothers that like the heathens. But the line and false side goes back to the nation of Israel, which the nation of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans through the prophecies and curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter and throughout the Bible. So this is Brother Yakal Amon from the branch of Great Millstone LA Camp, back with another video. And today's video will be entitled, For We Walk by Faith, Not by Sight. I was going to go on some precepts and Lord willing, you brothers and your sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Because we're entering into some very, very hard times and scary times. Which is the scriptures call it. Jacob's trouble. And we're gonna have to solely rely on Yahweh Shai. You know, solely believing in what's written in the scriptures. In the prophecies. And I just wanted to go into to a couple of scriptures that go into account on how the Lord has to build us up before the final test. Which the final test is the MOTB. And the Lord builds us up now throughout our manifold temptations that we go through while being in this truth, while preaching the word. So it's gonna go into some scriptures to go into account, and Lord willing, you brothers and your sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemon Shai. But let's start off with 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7. And it reads, For we walk by faith and not by sight, right? So that's blind faith, because everything, the Lord's not going to give you in confirmation for everything all the time, and sometimes we have to just, take the leap of faith, and which the definition of faith, according to the Bible, is this in Hebrews 11 and 1. It says, Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? So, we're hoping, to be part of the elect, to Lord willing get delivered, to Lord willing get that crown, but we don't see it as of yet, and that's why we hope, that's why beginning on with the Apostle Elder Great Millstone, we say, Lord willing, we are the hopeful elect, you know, but because if you don't have faith, as it says in Hebrews 11 and 6, but without faith, it is impossible to please Him. Yeah, so, without faith, it's impossible to please Yahweh Shemon Shai. For he that cometh to the Most High Yahweh must believe that He is. You must believe that the Lord is with you, that the Lord, is dealing with you. Of course, um, being humble at the same time. You don't want to be puffed up. Just going around saying that I know I'm the elect. No, you have to, you know, be lowly in mind. Be humble. You know, but you do have to believe, have confidence that the Lord is with you. It says in that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. Yeah, because Lord willing, we endure to the end. The Lord is going to reward us for all our works that we had did towards His name. And it says diligently. So it's an ongoing thing. It's preaching the truth. Is you have to do it with consistency, because that's another word for diligence, consistency. You know, and let's go into account because one of my favorite accounts. When King David had killed Goliath, the Philistine champion. And I just want to highlight out this chapter on how the Lord, had to build David up first before this big fight that King David had with Goliath. But when you read 1 Samuel 17:34, it says, And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep. And this is, King David, speaking to King Saul concerning, what the Lord, how the Lord was delivering him, from these, grievous animals before he was about to fight Goliath. But let's read it. It says, "Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear." Remember, these are two ferocious animals, that can kill you in a heartbeat, man. Eat you alive, bereave you, you know, devour you. It says, and took a lamb out of the flock. So, the, these animals had lion and bear took that lamb out the flock, and I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. This time about the lion, because the lion has a mane which is like a beard, the male lion, you know. So, this is King David, um, you know, uh, speaking to King Saul on how he delivered the lamb out the lion's mouth and slew the lion, killed the lion. It says verse 37, thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he had defiled the armies of the living power. Right. So King David had faith that, if the Lord, what was going to say? I don't want to jump the gun. So David said, moreover, the Lord Yahweh that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go and the Lord Yahweh be with thee. Yeah, so this is a point I wanted to highlight, because, these were um, small battles before the big battle. The big battle was when King David will fight Goliath, the Philistine. But these small battles that King David had before he fought with King Goliath, you know, and the Lord that was the point, the main point. The Lord delivered King David out of Paul the lion and Paul the bear. So King David knew by faith he will also deliver the Philistine to his hand, which the Lord did. As you keep progressing into this account, it says, and Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with the coat of milk. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said to Saul, I could not go with these, for I am not proved, meaning tested. He had, because he never wore the armor, so he didn't test it to see if it was, he wasn't, he didn't break the armor in, so to speak. It wasn't, it says, for I had not proved them, and David put them off him. Now I'm gonna jump down this to get to the point in verse. Let's see. Yep. This start verse 48. It says, and it came to pass when the Philistine rose and came and drew nigh to meet David, then that David hasted and ran toward the enemy to meet. It's like a little excited, and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it. It smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead and it fell upon his face to the earth. So, the Lord had it, King David had slung the stone and hit the Goliath in the forehead, man. It was like a bullet, and it killed him on impact. So David prevailed over the Philistine with the sling. So prevailed meaning he won. Let's look at that word prevailed. And this another example of how the Lord uses the scriptures speak about the Lord used the base things to confound the wise. Use the weak things to confound the mighty, and this was a perfect example of that. And the Lord's doing that all over again with us. Beginning with our apostle Elder Grant Mills on this truth. You know, um, we come up against Esau. Esau is considered mighty. But the Lord has us in His faith come up against him, man, without fear. And King David, he didn't have fear, man. And that's the same spirit we gotta have. Um, prevailed is from the Hebrew word chazak, chazak, which means to strengthen, prevail, harden, be strong, become strong. Prevail To prevail upon. Let's look it up on. It says prove more powerful. It says prove more powerful than opposing forces. Be victorious, right? So King David, he was victorious, man. It says carry the day, come out on top, succeed. See, you know. So David, he was successful in destroying, Goliath. You know, and the elect in these times, they scriptures speak about they got victory over the beast. You know, it's a beast. Represents NATO and the EU, with America being part of it. Which collectively represent Esau's power structure. And the elect is going to overcome. E- Uh, 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 it's going to overcome Esau, man. You know, it says. So yeah, that was a point. Brothers can read the rest. So I don't want to make the lesson too long, but yeah, man. King David. He got the victory, man. Let me just read that part when he took the Philistine sword. Verse 50 says, so David prevailed over the Philistine with the sling and with the stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him, but there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. So King David, he killed Goliath with his own sword, man, with his own weapon, which was, mockery, man, you know. So, I just wanted to get this account on how, the Lord had to build David up first throughout, from the small test to the big test. And the same thing the Lord doing with us now. The Lord has us go through our trial tribulations now, so He can prepare us for the big test, which is going to be Jacob's trouble. The implementing of the MOTB, because that's going to be a test. But this is Psalms 46 and 7. The Lord Yahweh of hosts with us. The God Jacob is our refuge, Salah. So, we have to really believe in these words, with confidence. It's not, with pride, but with confidence. We have to believe, even if we enter into Jacob's trouble, if we're just by ourselves, we have to believe the Lord still. We have to believe that the Lord is still with us, man. And I just wanted to get this scripture because I quoted it earlier. Revelation 3 and 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Yeah, so, this applies to the elect. So the elect, kept the word of the Lord's patience, they endured in the truth, and they will be, the Lord will put a spirit on the elect, to resist the MOTB, which is the hour of temptation. The C-hit, man, the implantable device, or technology that will go on in your hands or your forehead, according to Revelation 13:16. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them and do upon the earth. So it's going to be a test. So this is the ultimate test that we're being prepared for, the hour of temptation, and also Jacob's trouble. So the Lord is building our character up now throughout our afflictions, so we can have, a strong spirit to be able to withstand. And I just end off on this. Hence this scripture. Isaiah 33:6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Yeah, so this wisdom and knowledge of the Bible, knowing the prophecies, it's going to be able to keep us stable in the times of Jacob's trouble. And stability is from the Hebrew word amawana, which this is a feminine way of saying faith. The masculine way is amawan, which means faith. So this knowledge, wisdom that we have out the Bible, knowing the prophecies, is going to be our faith in Jacob's trouble, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is His treasure, right? So, so yeah, I just want to, make a lesson on that. Before we walk by faith and not by sight. Lord willing, brothers was edified. And until next time, shalom.